for
Same
every
thing,
day.
Rob.
Man, he want the
Is
type of
it
help.
mental health or is it mindset? I don't know how
Yeah,
many
that's what
people
I'm
y'all
I
know
asking.
believe
that
that
in
it
that
is
age
mindset.
range.
I believe that it
Both.
is mindset. I
It's
didn't have my
both.
father.
It's
My
both.
mom was there. I was in church and whatnot, and I was able to kind of look at the men who were doing the leading, but they didn't invite me into their homes and to talk to me. I asked them for guidance, and they get scared.
But this is the thing though, you already done made a meal. You want to be spiritually intact. Like, either you can go back to where you say you didn't want to do it because of spiritual reasons. That's why I started. What's that noise?
You could hit her up and inbox her. She gonna take it.
That's why I was asking from the get go, like, what do you do? Who do you live with? Who's supporting your lifestyle? Because a lot of dudes that I know, specifically dudes, and it is some chicks out there in your age range that took that whole spiritual path a couple of years ago. You feel me? Like, they don't want to work for the man. They have a totally different mindset. It don't really have nothing to do with they don't they not. That's what, like, people asking you, what do you want to do? You don't know what you want to do, but you never probably really knew what you wanted to do, because it's a group of y'all that don't want to buy into quote unquote the system. Y'all don't want no parts in it. Or y'all putting spirituality before bills. I had to tell my son the same thing, and he only 19. But I also used to teach school, so I ran into a lot of these children, and I see them in their adult, like they around your age now. You feel what I'm saying? And they was caught up in the spirituality thing, the crystals, the
No, I'm not.
emeralds,
No, that's not me. No,
not going to work.
no, I go every
What
single
part
day.
of America?
I
What
work
part of
two
America
jobs
you
for
from?
20 hours for 2 years straight.
He just
What
said
city?
that
I'm
he
a
has to
hard
go to
worker.
work in the morning. Like, I
But
don't
to
know how
answer
you
your
do that.
question, T. Williams, my name is also T. Williams, so I thought it was kind of funny to see that. I work right now in food. I'm in the food industry. I'm not a manager. I don't really want to be, but I cook, clean, things like that. It's the basic job. Don't pay well, unfortunately, but I'm not complaining. Um, what I did before was I started a trucking company. I had about 4 or 5 employees, and I worked to put them through school. I paid for their CDLs, and I trained them and set up the company from zero. I moved from Georgia to California with about $500 in my pocket. Showed up with nothing. Started working in security, making around maybe 10 grand a month, and I saved everything. I lived in my car for about 2 years, and before that, I was living with my then business partner in his attic, and I paid him rent.
Wait a minute.
Yeah, man.
Yeah,
I'm assuming this about 5 years ago, right?
3.
Yeah, I say you're a dream. You gonna stick around for the shopping spree. So go ahead. What else?
Pretty tough 3 years. Lot
No,
of
I'm talking about with that $1 million and all of that. Like, dog, ain't no way you ran into $1 million,
Nah,
came
he
back
about to
and
tell
said,
you.
F it.
He about to tell you. He
Well, I'm
about to tell
hearing
you.
attic stories and living in cars.
Yeah, but that's the build
addicts.
up to how he built up the empire, and then he
Yeah.
walked away. You gotta listen to the story. So go ahead. You were living up in a car for so many years. You saved up X amount of dollars, and go ahead.
Started buying equipment, setting up LLCs, getting business together, doing the right thing. Um, the reason why I walked away, to sum it short, is because I couldn't get my emotions in check. I realized how alone I was. Family years ago had already been acting crazy, so I had to walk away from that. Decided to pursue family, and that didn't go well. Friendships dropping off left and right, and I chose integrity, and I got attacked for it in the world, out in the world, jobs, public, just following integrity that God said to follow, Scripture, quote
Yeah.
everyone if need be. But life was tough, not realizing like what being scripturally correct and having integrity and meaning it and struggling in the midst of it, being alone, no true loneliness, no nobody to call. Phone literally dry. If it ain't for business, there is no one to talk to. It got real tough. voice is the one that's leading, being the leader,
Dirty
not knowing if you are proficient.
skid marks in my
What you did with your
pants.
pilot print?
Drop Joel.
Well, this sounds like he's on a spiritual journey, and we have to respect that. I mean, for some, that's a very center of some people's lives. And if you don't have that spiritual connection, nothing else matters. So, I mean, we have to respect what he's saying, that he had money. I'm just taking what he says as face value. If he had all those things, material things, and he was still struggling, then you just maybe need to take some time to continue focusing on finding your purpose and then going from there.
I think his purpose is family. I think it's like
Yeah.
even the closest ones around him, his business partner, it wasn't family. It wasn't something that was welcome. It seemed like you don't. I got a guy that's in trucking. He like that. He attaches himself to different women, but he uses and abuses the women. And I try to tell him what the fuck he do wrong every time because he was adopted and he don't have true family. He don't know what it feels like to have somebody that rocks with him and fuck with him the hard way.
I
And
think the
he
nigga
actually,
bullshitting, and he just saying any motherfucking thing. And
I
he,
don't think it's bullshit.
yeah, I can tell you it is. I know bullshit.
And you don't believe somebody could move from Georgia to California, stay in their car, work, and try to be. I see it all day, and you see it at truck stops. You don't see them go to Laredo. You don't see them people living in the vans working every goddamn
Attention
day.
to
I
what
know.
he said.
What?
He,
Well, you a
he
trucker. You see this shit. If you drive a goddamn truck, you see this shit.
I
People
listen
living in their
to
cars at truck stops.
I listen
I don't
to I
think
listen
it's
to
bullshit.
listen. I don't listen to respond. He stayed in his car for 2 years working security, making $10,000 a month,
Mm-hmm.
and he saved all this money up and brought all this stuff, and then moved in his partner, brought all his equipment.
I started in my partner's place, in his attic.
Yeah,
And I moved out of his place into a car.
yeah. But then you had all this equipment
Correct.
that you done brought from working security,
Correct.
and you done had 4 trucks.
For employees.
Did you drive a truck?
No, I did not.
Okay, so you had 4 employees. That went downhill.
I gave it away.
Oh,
This shit getting crazy.
see?
I don't think it's BS. I don't think it's BS. And it sounds BS-ish.
Yeah,
But
I
like
love you
True to
too.
Self was saying, it's a spiritual journey. But I honestly think what happens is, you see, like these younger people fell into that whole, those years where money was kind of easier to access for them.
Mm-hmm.
You
COVID.
feel what I'm saying? When you start getting success at an early age, it is hard sometimes spiritually. Maneuvering life is different because like the people around you, they may not have that success. You don't have nobody to relate to. You take the shit for granted. It's all types of things that play into it. You're asking yourself, what is my whole purpose in life? Like I already don't got the bag. What's my purpose?
Yeah, I know. Just how they say, fuck with me, and we gonna double that bag and all that time, and how they say we gonna be good.
And I would just
My,
like to say that I don't really know if you're telling the truth or not, but I do know that you come across as a little pessimistic, like a little negative. You know what I mean? You can't go through life like that. You have to, even when you don't want to, you have to keep your mind in a positive space, and then positive things will come. But as long as I can't do this, and I'm not gonna ever be, and nobody loves me, and no, you're never gonna get anywhere like that, babe. You're gonna have to change your mindset. You can't be negative in life because the universe is just gonna hand it right back to you. So I would suggest
If his pain is real, which we don't know, I don't think he would have. I don't know. I just like to
talking
take
about
people.
pain.
I like to take his words at face value. Now his stories, that's really not our business, right? However he chooses to tell his story. But
You
the
already
fact,
done told us.
right? But the fact that he's on the panel should speak more volumes. And he's a 29-year-old person, And he's basically, from what I'm hearing, is that he wants some support. So it sounds to me that he wants some guidance. I think he connected with some people on the panel and maybe see how that works out.
What's your
But how you guide somewhere that don't you? How you gonna guide someone who don't know where they're going?
And I just,
Well, I mean,
I
at
just
29
stated
years,
that he
I
should
don't know.
be
I mean, I'm 51 years old. At 29 years old, I can't even remember what I was like at 29.
I
I
can't.
don't want to
I'm
remember.
52.
I can. I can.
I mean, I can, but I don't want to.
He
The
29
growth,
right
the
now.
growth, the growth that I've had, I choose not to live in the past. But I know that my growth has been so substantial that I can respect someone that is that age because I remember what it was like for me.
But we're not saying pick a career. You feel me? Like he said he don't know what he wants to do. But he not answering questions like, well, what do you like? You know how hard that is.
He's not ready yet. He's not ready yet.
I haven't.
How you don't know what you like? You gotta like something.
But he's not ready yet. And so
hold
that's
on.
respect
Bro,
that.
you know if you like water, if you like Kool-Aid. You know.
Now, T. Williams, the 7 wall coming out or whatever. Nah.
I'm just being 100. If you ask me what I like, even if I don't know my career path, it's
Okay, so
something that
how many
I'm
people
doing from day to
that's
day that I
50 and
like.
older is still doing the same thing they were doing when they were 29?
But yet they still can answer the question, well, what do you like?
Truth, I'm gonna tell you right, and you gotta understand this. The way that your mind think is not the way that it's supposed to go. Like no man thinks like that. All us men up here, besides the one we talking to, we think of moving. We not gonna stay stagnant. Not even if our mind ain't made up, we still moving in the direction that we know we want to go in. That's what people are really trying to say right now. And
Well,
you
I
saying
did
he
hear
not ready. Hold on.
I'm sorry, my apologies.
You saying he not ready. What is he ready for then? Because like the world keeps turning. The world ain't gonna stop for you because you not ready. That's the problem that a lot of us had in life, that we thought the world was gonna stop to wait on us. The world will pass your ass by. You 29 now, you will be 30 next year, the ending of this year, and guess what? That shit gonna blow by so goddamn fast, you will be 40 by the time you realize, and your ass will be still thinking about what the hell you want to do.
And that's why
Men can't think like that. Men can't have that mindset.
That's
so
a
to tell
fact.
people they ain't ready,
That is a fact.
no, we gotta. You ready? You ready to face this world? You ready to face all your challenges? Whatever is hindering you, you gotta face that shit now, because you can't stay stagnant.
Well, that's why I was saying respectfully, host, that it's okay to give yourself a timeline. Like, I'm not saying he should waste another 10 years. You know, respectfully, he can give himself 6 months. He can give himself a year and say, you know what, after this year, I need to figure out something. I need to stand on something. But it's okay to take some time for yourself, especially if you've been through some things, to collect yourself and to figure out what it is actually you want to do. There's nothing wrong with that.
But how at 29? How at 29 you find a year to give yourself?
Let me ask you a question. Between last year Biden being president and this year Trump being president, what has changed that you see that a year could hurt you?
Thanks.
Well, you're
How do you even
talking about politics, right? But I'm just saying for his own.
No. I'm not. It ain't got nothing. Politics is a part of it, but all the programs that have been wiped away, a year could hurt you. You cannot stay stagnant. This is what I'm trying to explain to you. You have to push forward regardless of what it is and work through your problems as you progress in life in other ways. If you sit there and take a year and say, well, let me take a year off before I reach my goals, guess what? You may want to go away that the programs can help you government-wise, and guess what? They can be wiped away from you overnight.
Okay, so let's say 3 months. Whatever time he chooses, 3 months. But clearly what he's saying, what I hear is that he has some internal stuff going on that no matter where he lands, it's not going to be okay for him. So, I'm more concerned about his emotional health, but that's just me.
I think you should get his number and y'all can talk and everything.
Brother, look, bro,
That's the difference between us, right? That's why it's important for us as a community to have that balance, right?
He might not
Because
feel
it's
comfortable talking.
definitely important.
Let me. Can I give a little personal? Let me give a little personal. That time taken off, I took 3 years off, and it wasn't by my own choice. I did 3 years in prison, and when I got out, I still didn't have no goddamn direction. Until friends that I was hopping spot to spot, job to job, whatever the case. That mindset of I don't want to work for the man. That's what it was with me like that. That's why I know what the hell I'm talking about. I had that same mindset. I didn't want. That's how I ended up in trucking. I'm out here by my goddamn self. They send me the orders and all this of what to go pick up, and I go and I talk to these people on my own. I have to go to the windows. I have to do everything. I have to do my log. If I get pulled over, I got to talk to the police. Like, this is me on my own. I don't have to be dealt up with other people the way I'm not up under nobody's thumb. I got my orders and I do what I got to do. Set me down for 3 years to find my goddamn self. But I know 3 years went from 3 years to goddamn 5 years, and I still didn't have no goddamn direction. Why? Because I damn sure was even more lost when I came out of prison. I had 3 years to find my goddamn self and say, boy, you doing something fucking wrong because you ended up in prison. Trust me, he could sit there stagnant like that in his crib or whatever the case may be, whatever who he with, but he'll never elevate like that. I had to elevate. And I guarantee you, bro, a lot of men.
You had 3 years. You had a 3 year break.
But that break was horrible for me. You know I'm chasing. You know I chase right now. I done made over 6 figures the last damn 3 years of my goddamn life driving trucks over the road. But you know that hurt me because now I'm chasing. I have lesser time with family right now. All that because I'm chasing what I lost for them 3 years. Them 3 years took me off the street. I couldn't earn no money.
So when you was in there for 3 years, so when you was in there for 3 years, did you do any introspection?
I wanted to get my CDL in there. I did. That's why I found.
No, I said, did you do any introspection?
I said that. That's why I found myself and told myself I got to do better because I ended up here. I said that already. That's
okay, so it helps.
No, listen.
He didn't have a choice. That's what he's saying.
Right. I didn't have a choice but to find myself and realize, like, he on the street right now. Nobody has taken his freedom.
But you was on the street before you went in. So, right. I mean, it's the same thing.
I was lost this shit.
It really ain't the same thing.
He ain't voluntarily going.
No, but listen to what I'm saying, respectfully. He's saying that before he didn't just land in prison, right? He made choices that landed him there, right?
Right.
So previously to that, he could relate to the young man who's saying that he was lost because apparently you was lost if you landed in prison.
Oh, you not paying attention. This man had
lost after prison.
This man.
No, they're saying before prison. Before prison.
I was lost before. Hold on. I was lost before. Stayed in there. Got myself like, bro, you got to do better. Got out. Hopped from spot to spot, job to job, whatever. Couldn't figure out what was better was. I had homeboys telling me, go do this. Go to the unions, like this and that. They helped me get better. And then guess what? I seen other things, and that's how I ended up in truck driving because, shit, I seen guys making better money than I was at a point in time. And they didn't have all the orders over their head and stuff like this. They didn't work for the man. That's what T. Williams say. Sometimes the youth don't want to work for other people. And I had that in my same mindset. I didn't want to work for nobody else. That's what made trucking better for me. But he has to find himself what better for. If he don't mind working for somebody, he has to, get his life together and go that route. But I
Amen.
still was
Work for
lost.
somebody.
I
No,
still
amen. No,
was lost.
that's very good advice. Like you giving him an option. Like he can go whichever route he feels for him.
I had to find a route that was best for me. That's the
This
whole
the thing though, Corey.
But I could not sit down and wait to find that route. I still had to move at the same time. I still had to eat. I still had to have a roof over my head. That's the problem. The world will not stop for you.
Absolutely. There's a lot of people that come home that go into trucking. I know that for a fact. There's a lot of guys that go in and they come home and they go into counseling. They do hire people, in the correctional facilities, counseling, or whatever.
Different. My dog is different. My dog moved.
Is he homeless? 'Cause that's what I thought I heard.
My dog moved from Georgia to California with $500 in his pocket, and he worked security, making $10,000 a month for 2 years, and saved all that money up, and started a trucking company, and made $1 million, and he gave everything away.
Hold on. Hold on. I know why you find it weird because he said $10,000, but California, because of their cost of living,
I understand all that.
They pay more.
Yeah.
That's still a lot of money. 120,000.
But he saved everything for 2 years and brought all this equipment and made $1 million and walked away from it. And hey,
I did not save everything for 2 years. I put aside 90% of all of my earnings every 2 weeks toward my business.
Are you homeless now? That's what I was trying to, because they made it sound like you homeless.
No, I'm currently not homeless.
I think it's possible. I'm not gonna lie. The money is it was in California, especially during COVID. The money was out there.
I'm gonna tell you like
So
this.
AZ, because it sounds like you have a lot of experience as far as finding a profession. So what is it that you want from the panel? Like what because you have the skills. If you was able to make $1 million and start your own business, so obviously, that's not an issue for you. What is your issue?
Reno had made a mention of it a little earlier when he mentioned guiding through the times that we're in. Like I said, when I started, I struggled finding people that talk about the real things because I need that. And I deal with a lot of the issues that happen on the back end of it just for being who I am. My character has been the point of my stress and my contention. The reason why a lot of what's happened cascades into the other things. None of what I'm telling y'all are a lie, but I'd have to tell you genuinely what's been going on for you to know where I'm struggling. And that's why it's tough. I've spoken to, counselors and things, and it just doesn't, they don't give me anything. They don't give me anything. And it's weird because I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like an outlier because my story does sound odd. People my age don't do what I've done. They don't have the conviction when it comes to Christ or anything that I've had. And it's tough for me to find someone that can just talk to me real. They don't need all the pieces, but just being real. And I've said it. Reno gave me that tonight. I'm not saying none of you are, but of all of you who've reached out to me to assist, Reno has shown me that. And I am going to reach out to him because I'm sure that he may understand the nuance that it's not that I'm looking for like somebody to guide or to help or to assist, but like there's pieces that I can't figure out that are missing, that are pieces that a man has, and I identify it, and I'm honest with it, that my masculinity is not where it needs to be at. My understanding that I am a man is not where it should be at, and I'm frustrated at me. That's why the internal's where it is. I know God has shown me that I am missing something, and I cannot get that on my own. And I appreciate everybody. And no, I'm not lying about anything. But that's exactly what the truth is. That's what the truth is.
And I think Reno did speak about he was very spiritual. And I think it might be a good thing for you to connect with Reno. He did offer that, and maybe you guys can explore that.
It sounds like you need more structure, brother. You know what I'm saying? Sound like you need more structure. Like everybody brought up, basically giving yourself time. Man, I'd say that to say this. Give yourself, go in the calendar in your phone. Starting tomorrow, start sectioning out the parts of your day that you know that you have some free time. And in that time, you do some self-reflection and you put together a plan of attack. You put dates to whatever goals that you feel like you need to put in place. And you shoot for those dates that you put in that calendar. But you put something in there ASAP so you're not stagnant. If it's, I'm going to get up in the morning and I'm going to work out before I go to work. When you go to therapy, a good therapist will tell you about self-therapy. When you start feeling like you're slipping into depressions, you start feeling like you're slipping into stress and depression is having you to where you don't even want to get out of bed in the morning, then whatever your self-therapy is something that when you do it, for some people is working out. For me, it's working out. If you, whatever that is, if it's listening to music, you got to find that part yourself. Whatever your self-therapy is when you doing it, whatever you stressed about, you come out feeling better when you finish doing it. Some people, I got a CDL too. So some people, when they drive in trucks, for me, it was listening to motivationals to start my day. And it was, you can go on YouTube, you can put in 2-hour motivational or however much free time you have. And when you listen to that, it's to set the trajectory for your day. You know what I'm saying? Faith without works is dead. So it's to set the trajectory for your day. And if you know that you lack the proper trade that you need, something in demand is going to get you employment, that if they fire you, you can replace it. CDL is very good at that. Medical field is very good at that. Whatever it is that you see. Then you have Udemy courses online with free resources. You have YouTube courses online. If you can't afford the school, then you use that yourself. IBM got free courses. Google has free courses for coding. If you want to do something like cybersecurity, they got free courses in there. Now you're going to have to pay for the certifications, but the courses are free to get the curriculum. If you can get the curriculum, some of these jobs you can find, you can look this stuff up. You know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, you need to set a structure and a plan of attack so that you can start doing something as quick as possible. But while simultaneously you're doing something as quick as possible, you're doing something that's attainable. Every time you do a short goal, you will get something out of it spiritually or on the inside. Some people, spiritual people, will say spiritually. Those that's not, let's say you'll get driven, you'll get ambitious, and you'll go into movement. But that's what you need to do. If you do that, you start doing that. You take these conversations that you got from everybody today, you soak them up as if everybody on this panel was your uncle, your aunt, or your granddaddy. You know what I'm saying? And you take that game and you run with that game. You look up whatever you can retain, you go look it up. Do something to keep your mind busy. Because an idle mind is the devil's workshop.
Yeah, playground.
I'll land my plane.
All right, I got to get back to my topic.
AZ, before you say that, I just want to say thank you for sharing, because that was very courageous of you. And I just think that, you're 29 years old. You got a lot to look forward to. And it's okay to take some time to think about where you want to go.
All right. Everybody have a great night.
Yeah, I want to get back to the topic, because I don't know if it's going to help write this. You might want some one-on-one time. So hopefully he'll take the advice, hit some people up, and we can get back to the topic. True, did you want to answer the topic, or you was just up here for him?
How's everybody doing tonight?
How you doing?
Yes, absolutely. I want to answer the topic. You're funny. I'm like, you're funny. So what is the Black man's legacy? I think that's subjective.
I'm sorry, dear. You cut off.
Can you hear me?
Were you asking me or were you about to say something?
Nah, she was answering the prompt.
No, I was answering the prompt. Yeah. So the first question was, what is the black man's legacy? I think it's subjective. I think because every black man, every black woman